Participants. So we welcome you for the online BIRC workshop on behalf of the First Job Human Capital. So this workshop aims to raise awareness on the prevention of sexual harassment, gender sensitization, and the effective functioning of internal compliance committee. It will also highlight best practice for post compliance. Your insight would greatly enhance the session and support our goal of creating a safer and more inclusive workplace. So about the speaker, Dr. Shanti Neelakandan is a founder and CEO of NASA Academy and Consultancy, bringing over 2 decades of experience across healthcare, higher education, academic administration, and HR consulting. A doctorate in management with a focus on work-life balance. She is known for designing transformative learning, mentoring, and HR solutions that drive institutional and individual growth. She has held leadership roles as general manager in top hospitals and served as a professor in reputed engineering institution, spearheading accreditation efforts in NAC, NBA, and NABH, faculty development, and nationally recognized programs. A certified POSH trainer, happiness coach, and AI practitioner, Dr. Shanti blends emotional intelligence, innovation, and well-being into her training and consulting work. Her contribution have earned like the Best Paper Award from SRM University and a gold medal from AIIMS Hyderabad. We welcome you, ma'am. So on behalf of First Job, we welcome you once again. So I just handing over this session to our CEO, Mr. Murali Kashnath, sir, to speak a few words about this introduction section.
So thank you, Madan. So welcome, ma'am, to this session.
Thank you, sir.
Session. On behalf of First Job Human Capital, I warmly welcome you for this session. Adding to that, I would also appreciate all these participants for actively participating, because this is like 3 o'clock. We received some 60 plus participants inside this room. Really, it is a great enthusiasm. Actually, this workshop has been designed to enhance and strengthen the industrial ecosystem across this country. And we are also getting day to day, we are getting feedback from our participants for the title which have to be decided. This title, workshop title, was been purely decided by not by our organization. It has been decided by the participants who are participating here, and based on that, we are also getting resource person across this country, and we are also taking forward this mission. I'm really happy to see all you here, and we are also giving the participation certificate also to all of you. Please get this with you. Definitely, this will support you in future for your career enhancement and development. And please share all these invitation and links. Whenever time you are getting all this invitation and links, please share to your fellow colleagues and friends and relatives, so that they can also be part of this, this capacity building workshop. So thank you, Madan. Thank you all for participating. Once again, I welcome ma'am to take forward this session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madan, for the wonderful introduction which you have given about me. Yeah. Good afternoon and a hearty welcome to all of you for being part of the program. And my sincere thanks to Murali sir and his team from First Job Human Capital for organizing and hosting this program on gender sensitization, POSH, how to formulate and take it forward for the benefit of the organization as well as the society. And as far as the participants, we have got around 70 participants, which shows how important the topic is all about. So let me share my PPT with you and take the session forward. Yeah, before starting, I request the participants, if you have any doubt or clarification, you can have a note of it or put it in the chat box so that we can take it at the end of the session during Q&A. Yeah, the topic is about Introduction to POSH, Gender Sensitization, ICC Formation and Implementation. So we all can join together in empowering to build a safer and a respectful workplaces. So this is the concept behind the program. And what is that which going to be covered in the program? When I talk about the coverage part of it, the starting with the gender sensitization at the first part. So here we'll be taking care of what is gender and how a gender sensitization will be done. And the second part over here is going to cover up the POSH. That is the POSH Act's legal framework and what is the spirit behind it. I hope all of you understand English, and I may be using here and there Tamil. If you're not able to understand, please let me know. The second part of it is going to cover the POSH, which also includes the policy formulation, how we are going to create a policy and ICC setup to be done and how we are going to implement the ICC. Along with that, we are also going to develop a HR-centric implementation because HR is the center point of view for implementing this particular policy in any organization, and it should involve a trust-based system. And along with that is a practical insight. So this is going to be the coverage of the programs, today's program. Moving further, so we shall start with the poll. Can we have the poll, please? I want each of you to read the statement, and then according to you, this statement refers to which gender. That is what you need to take it up.
Yes, I have launched the poll, ma'am. So I think all the participants can see the polls.
Yes, yes, please. Thank you.
So out of 73, 15 people have been answered the polls.
So we are closing with that, or we are waiting?
Yeah, we are waiting. Only something like 20 people have been answered.
Okay. Actually, in my screen, some lines are coming over there, some scratch lines, blue and red color lines. Mother?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
In my screen, I can see some lines over there.
Just a minute. Then make you.
Blue and red color lines are coming in my screen. How about in yours?
Oh, I'm just getting with the blue lines only. The people who are getting the answers.
No, some Redmi NA is coming. Something is being written on that.
Somebody is trying to copy.
Okay. So we have the result over here. Still it's going on.
Yeah, some 45 people have been answered. I mean, 63% only filled out.
Okay.
We can end the poll, madam.
Ma'am, shall I end the poll?
Yeah, I think it's better to end the poll.
Okay. So I have just entered the poll. I'm just sharing the result. So all the participants can see the result.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you able to see the result?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. So we have the result in hand first. Here the first question what we are given over here, career is fine, but family should be the priority. So the majority, it goes to the female, followed by the second one. When you see you are the provider, career comes first, and it goes with the male. The third part of it, the third question, you won't get a good match if you are too ambitious. It goes with the female majority, followed by the fourth one, you should be ambitious and powerful, a male. So you can just see the result, how it has come out. Dress modestly, your invitation, you are inviting attention. Again, it goes to the female. You should know how to cook. It goes to the female. And the seventh one, you will lose respect if you raise your voice. It goes to the female. And then the eighth one, don't be quiet, just retaliate. Okay, it goes with the equal part of it. That's fantastic. You must protect your sister. Goes with the male. And then don't be emotional, handle things silently. So it has gone to the female. Right. So I hope you would have inferred what is that this statement talks about. So when we say gender சொல்லும்போது, what happens is we have a predefined characteristics. பசங்கன்னா இப்படி, பொண்ணுங்கன்னா இப்படி, கேர்ள்ஸ்னா இப்படி, பாய்ஸ்னா இப்படி. ஸோ ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் வே ஆஃப் டெஃபினேஷன் நம்மளே கொடுத்து வச்சிருக்கோம் ஜெண்டர்ல வந்துட்டு. Whether it's right or not right, we are not sure about it. But what is that we can do is we can create an equality in it, or equality கொண்டு வந்துக்கலாம். For example, the first statement itself says career is fine, but family should be the priority. Yes, of course, family is a priority. What we can say is we need to balance. So this particular statement, we not take it only for the female, it can be for the boys. So equal responsibility has to be taken from both the sides. So that is what a gender talks about over here, and this is where we need a sensitization. ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம ஒர்க் பிளேஸ் எடுத்துட்டோம் அப்படின்னா ரெண்டும் ஈக்குவலா எப்படி கொண்டு போகணும் அப்படிங்கிறத we need to talk about over here. So moving with that, I have one more thing which you need to think about. Is sex and gender same? ரெண்டு சேமா இல்லையா? Can we stop sharing this, Madan?
Yeah, I've just stopped sharing.
Yeah. Okay. So moving further with that, I just want to know whether both the sex and the gender both are same or not. There is a difference in it when I say sex. Yeah. Okay. So when I say sex over here, it is biological. The biological சொல்லும்போது வந்துட்டு it comes with birth. So for example, the chromosomes, reproductive organs and hormones, based on which we say it's a male and a female. So that is how we defined it, and we don't have anything to change in it. We have to accept it as it is, and there's no changes which can be brought in. We accept with from the time of birth. Alla change பண்றதுக்கு ஒண்ணும் இருக்கிறது இல்ல. But the other part of it is gender, இது வந்து cultural defined. நம்ம previous slideல பார்த்துட்டோம் how it is being defined. இதுனா இவங்க பண்ணணும் அவங்க பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ரோல் வந்து ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டிஸ் அண்ட் ரோல்ஸை வந்து டிஃபைன் பண்ணி ரெண்டு பேர்ட்டையும் கொடுத்துடுறோம், அண்ட் தே ஹாவ் டு கோ வித் தட். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஜஸ்ட் இமேஜின் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு அ ஹாஸ்பிட்டல். ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு போகும்போது வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் இஸ் யூ டாக் டு அ செக்யூரிட்டி. ஜஸ்ட் கீப் ஆன் இமேஜினிங், இமேஜின் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருங்க சொல்லும் போது ஒரு ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் போறோம், ஒரு செக்யூரிட்டியை பார்க்குறோம். செக்யூரிட்டியை பார்க்கும்போது வாட் கம்ஸ் யூ ஆர் டாக்கிங் டு செக்யூரிட்டி. அப்ப என்ன மைண்டுக்கு வருது? செக்யூரிட்டி அப்படிங்கும்போது we are talking to a male person. Moving further, உள்ள போறோம், we are meeting a receptionist. When we see a receptionist talking to a receptionist, what happens is, again, in the mind, we imagine that, okay, we are talking to a woman or a female. And then the receptionist says, okay, go and meet the nurse. So when she says, go and meet the nurse, immediately what strikes in her mind is a female. So we have a predefined notion or a stereotype way of thinking, saying that, okay, in the role na ivanga pannuvaanga, in the role na ivanga pannuvaanga. So or a predefined notion order, we are going on with that. So that is the basic reason. What happens is there is an inequality which starts coming in. But it may not be. Why? Even a male can be a nurse, a male can be a teacher, but we say that, okay, women na teacher irukonu. So in the mari விஷயங்கள்ல வந்து equality, when we start bringing in at each and every stage, it becomes easy for the organization to step further. Okay, so we'll have one more poll to take it forward with. Before that, what is gender sensitization and what is that we need to concentrate on gender sensitization? Okay. When I say gender sensitivity, it is not about favoring one gender. இவங்கள தான் பெருசு, அவங்க தான் பெருசு அப்படின்னு கிடையாது. I'm not talking about a male or a female. What to do? It is not favoring one gender. It is treating everyone with fairness, dignity, and respect at work, at home, and in society. So equal treat பண்ணனும் அப்படிங்கிறது we need to get in. But in the sensitization, எங்க start பண்ணனும்? Can we start at the workplace? It can't happen. So it needs to start from the house. வீட்ல இருந்தே வந்து அந்த sensitization கொண்டு வந்தோம் அப்படின்னா, gender sensitivity என்னன்னா, everybody wants to treat everyone equally. But what happens is, ஒரு unconscious bias வந்து இருக்கும். இல்லைன்னா unconscious behaviorனால we get in the inequality. So that is the reason we need to sensitize it ன்னு சொல்லிட்டே வர்றோம். So let's have a look into a video. This video, it is being played in Hindi, but I'll try to explain it in English again. So please have a look into the video. You'll just start understanding why we need to start at home, the gender sensitivity.
मम्मी, भैया और मैं खेलने जा रहे हैं। नहीं, आज नहीं। क्यों? आज तो मुझे किचन में हेल्प करोगी। और मम्मी? कोई मम्मी वम्मी नहीं। क्या कर रहे हो? रौनक, तुम चले जाओ, नीचे मिल जाएगा तुम्हें खेलने के लिए कोई। या पापा आप जाओ ना इसके साथ।
So what is happening over here? This girl, she wants to go down and play, and mother says, no, you have to help me at home. And she tells the boy, okay, why don't you go down and play with your
Ma'am,
friends?
your voice, we can't able to hear it loudly.
Oh, okay. Now is it clear?
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay. So this video, I'm just explaining it in English over here for the people who can't understand Hindi. The girl, she asks the mother, can I go down and play? And immediately she replies, no, you have a lot of work at home. You have to help me here. And then immediately she says the boy, why don't you go down and play? You'll get a lot of friends over there. And then she requests her husband, go and play with him. So this is the situation which is happening.
मैं भी जाऊं? नहीं बोला ना। बेटा घर का काम भी सीख ले, नहीं तो लोग क्या कहेंगे, माँ ने कुछ नहीं सिखाया।
Yeah, she says to the girl again, please learn the household works. Otherwise, what people will say? Mother has not taught you anything. So this is the conversation which is happening between the two people. Yes. So what is the statement? It is really a very powerful statement. Inequality gets learned. Equality needs teaching. So this is the statement which we need to keep in mind. So at home, whatever the children are seeing and learning, they just learn it on their own. They don't need to be taught. So what happens is equality needs to be taught to the people. So a teaching is required in terms of creating an equality. So it's about seeing beyond stereotype, we can just talk about in case of a sensitivity. So we'll have one more poll just to see what the response is. So can we start the poll? Madan, can we start?
Yes, I have started the poll, so everyone can see.
Please respond with yes or no based on the way you have heard about the statement or you believe the statement is about.
I think there is no movement in the poll. I think most of the people.
Yes, we can close it.
I hope most of the users has been submitted the poll. So I'm just ending the result, ending the poll.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Srivatsan, as you mentioned, ma'am voice is not here. I think we can hear the ma'am voice. I think all the participants can able to hear the voice, right?
Yes, I can hear.
Sir,
Okay.
we can hear it.
Can you remove the blue line, sir?
Just a minute, let me try it.
So we are ending the poll, Madan.
Yeah, I've just ended the poll.
Okay. All right. So we have the result in hand. So the first answer, men's are naturally better at leadership roles. And we have majority people saying that it's no. So people started accepting that leaders are not born, they are also made. So that's a response which I'm getting. Fantastic. Second one, women are too emotional to take tough decision. And we have the answer as yes over here. Please make a note of it. Men should not cry. It's a sign of weakness. Again, please make a note of it. Why not? Why can't they cry? And girls are better at caring professions like teaching or nursing. Why? We have got a majority as yes. Why is it so? If a woman works late, she is neglecting her family. Again, that's a good response. No. And a man taking paternity leave is not serious about his career. So we have an awareness, and here comes a no. So shared responsibility. And boys will be boys. Yes, this statement has got a majority response of 73% saying that yes for it. So, which is need to be noted. A successful woman must be bossy or aggressive. So people say that it's no, great. And men are expected to be the primary breadwinners. Why is it so? Need not be. And then we have a technical roles are more suitable for the men than women. And you have majority of the people saying yes. So here, these are the certain statements which I had given to check how the society is perceiving it and how we are taking it. There are certain areas in which people have an awareness and they are working on that, and that's the reason we have got a good result over there. In that, it need to be thought about it. And when I say technical roles are more suitable for men than women, we have got 57% over here. Even now, when you enter into an engineering college, especially a mechanical department, out of 50 to 60 students sitting over there, you will find one or two girls in the year 2025. If you go and enter and see the count over there. So still there is a stereotype going on saying that technical roles are more suitable for the men than the women. So can we stop the sharing of the chat, or can I do it?
Have stopped.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so when we talk about these statements, what does it reflect? Men are naturally better at leadership roles. Yes, we have got a good result over here. A gender stereotype, a biased assumptions has to be removed over there. So when we are doing a sensitization training, please make a note of certain areas which needs to be given much concentration. Women are too emotional to take tough decisions. Again, it reinforces a biased way of thinking at the authority of the women. Men should not cry when we talk about this. Again, it is suppressing the emotional expression in men. Coming to girls are better at caring professions. When we talk about this particular thing, and we have got a responses yes over here, but what happens is when we have this type of stereotype thinking, we are reducing the opportunities for the people. That's limiting the career potential is what going on. And if a woman works late, she's neglecting family. Good that we have got a better result for this. A man taking paternity leave is not serious about his career. We have got a good, there is awareness on this now. Boys will be boys. Again, we have got 73% of the people who have said yes. And when people reinforcing that boys are boys, what happens is we are making them go ahead with the same behavior what they are going with. Similarly, the next one, we have got a good response. There is an awareness. Men are expected to be primary breadwinners. But what happened over here is, since we have got the other way around, it is limiting the shared financial responsibility. So we need to give a concentration on that. Coming to the last one again. So in an organization, when you are sensitizing, please make a note of the way in which people are behaving. When we say behaving in the sense, what happens is you have a certain set of way in which you are thinking at the people. So, but what happens, you need to create a consciousness in them. That is the only thing which I'm asking you to take into consideration, consciousness. And then most of the people unconsciously start behaving in a particular way. So a conscious bias and a conscious behavior needs to be created rather than an unconscious bias and an unconscious behavior. So these are the two areas we need to sensitize on. So every time we accept a stereotype as truth. Over time வந்து நம்ம இதுதான் கரெக்ட் இதுதான் கரெக்ட்னு தப்பான விஷயங்களை நம்ம reinforce பண்ணும்போது what happens is we are limiting someone's potential. So gender sensitivity, when it begins, when people start questioning the assumptions. Assume பண்ணாம you take things forward, it will be going in a better way. Just have a look at this particular video.
Faster, faster. पहुंच गया बस. हाँ. सेकंड ना और लड़की से आ गया. ऐसे.
Yeah, can you see the reaction of the boy? So this shows over here, inequality is learnt. So equality needs to be taught. So the reaction of the boy is itself shows that inequality is being learned. So when somebody keeps on saying such statements, people start learning. So we need to have a better teaching for that. So we need to teach the people to start questioning the assumptions, and that's where the gender sensitivity starts to begin. So what does it involve? So we need to create gender-biased, gender-based inequalities and actively work on to prevent the discrimination, promote equality, and create an inclusive environment. So this is the area of focus for each and every organization to concentrate on. In simple, it fosters respect and compassion for others regardless of differences. You need to be very, very empathetic when you are dealing with people. So let me take you through a sensitivity at workplace, a small example, a scenario which I'll give you. Just imagine in a team meeting where a male manager tends to interrupt a female member more than a male. So what is happening over here is, in this particular person, when you have more of gender sensitive colleague, so such persons, when they notice this and start pointing it out, suggesting that everyone should be given an equal opportunity to speak. When we have such type of environment, automatically this unconscious behavior starts to be acknowledged. So ஆளுங்க வந்து ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா அவங்க பண்ற பிஹேவியரை வந்து they start working on that and then start working towards being conscious in that effort. So that is the way in which you can create a gender sensitivity at workplace. Yeah, this is one of the beautiful example which I just came across in an education. When you see a textbook, in Indian schools, in the textbook, normally when you see it, they used to portray a woman அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது டக்குன்னு cooking அப்படிங்கும்போது இருக்கும்போது வந்து you have a woman picture. A cleaning, you have a woman picture is being portrayed. But when you see a leaders or scientists or professionals, you have a men picture. A simple, when I say chairman, you're going to meet a chairman of the company. Immediately what comes to our mind? Chairman அப்படிங்கும்போது men. Maybe true, may not be true, but that's how we start assuming. That is the reason people say that start using a gender neutral word. For example, chairman, Bala, why don't we use it as a chairperson? In case of a watchman, why don't you say it is a security? So these are the ways in which we can start getting a transformation. So for handling this issue, what NCERT did as an intervention, what they did was they started reviewing and revising the textbooks to include women in diverse roles, stories promoting gender equality, and examples of shared domestic responsibilities. So the books were being reviewed and revised according to that, and it was being given. So as a result, what happened was the outcome was increased awareness on gender equality. People started having an awareness on that, and the teachers also reported more balanced classroom discussion. And the third was girls were feeling more represented and motivated. So this was the outcome of the initiative taken by the NCERT. So what as an organization we can do in an organization is to build an inclusive, fair, and a respectful society is what we need. So any policy, நம்ம எந்த policy design பண்ணாலும், we need to have an inclusiveness in the mind. We need to have a fairness. ஒரு empathetic think பண்ணி we can frame the policies and a respectable society. So this is what we need to do. And we also need to challenge the outdated stereotypes. And the third important thing is giving an equal opportunity and treating everyone with respect. So this was the conclusion which you can give by the initiative taken by the NCRT. Right. Let me give you one more scenario over here, just to think on it. Please have a think on it, and what is that you can do in your organization when such type of scenario happens. So here, the background over here is an IT company is reviewing the candidate for a team lead position. So they are working on promoting one of the person. So here, 2 employees are shortlisted. But 2 people are shortlisted. The first person, who is Ravi, he's 32 years old with 7 years of experience, and he's a very good, consistent performer, very assertive, and also vocal in meeting. And then you have one more person, Priya. She's 31 years old, equally good with 8 years of experience, and she delivers a high quality work. Everybody likes her, but less vocal in group settings. So you have 2 people, both are competent. How are you going to select them? In this particular situation, what happens is, during the selection meeting, a senior manager comments. What does he comment? Priya is excellent, but she might go on maternity leave soon. Please make a note of this particular statement. You would have come across in your own organization also. So we need someone fully available. So this was the statement made by the senior manager. So what happens? As a result, Ravi is promoted. Now, the issue over here is Priya was never asked about her personal plans. That was the first thing. And the second thing is, assumption about her future choices influenced a professional decision. This was the second. And the third was, she was not happy. So this is a situation which has happened in an organization. And when it happens in your organization, what is that we are going to do over here? My question to all of you, just please think over it. My question to all of you is, was the promotion decision fair? Why or not? So you have thought about it. When I say the promotion decision was unfair, when I say promotion decision was unfair, yes, it was unfair. We are not having any right to make an assumption over here about anybody's personal plan. When you're coming to an organization for working, all are equal. That's the reason we have the policies in place. And as far as the plan is concerned, as the family plan is concerned for Priya, what happens is it is she who is going to take a decision, and company has a policy which they will be taking it forward. So for a promotion, as far as this situation is concerned, promotion varumbodhu, we need not have an assumption. The second important thing is we need not take a call, because we have a policy for that if a person is going on a leave. The second one, how did gender bias influence the decision-making process? Yes, it's a stereotype which has come over here. The third, in your company, if such situation have to happen, how will you handle it differently? So how can we handle it differently? Yes. First important thing is you need to have a clear documented performance metrics. You need to give a right JD to the people. You need to have a right KPIs and KRAs, key performance indicators, key result areas. All that needs to be in place so that it is easy for you to evaluate whom to select and whom not to select, purely based on the performance. So this needs to be very clear. Second is you need to have a panel based on decision making, need to have a group of people who take a decision rather than leaving it at an individual level. The third is training on a gender sensitivity and unconscious bias. This is very important. Normally what is happening is ISO says that you need to give a training to the people. Accreditation committee says you need to give a training to the people. But what happens in an organization is training is not given importance. It is just in a record. எல்லாமே ட்ரைனிங்கே கொடுக்காம நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம்? We start collecting the record. எந்த ஃபார்மேட்ல வேணும் எல்லாம் போட்டு we create a file and keep it safely. So training on gender sensitivity and unconscious bias is one of the area which we can concentrate on along with the other training when you are preparing a training calendar at starting of the year. So this is one of the important area which we can concentrate on. Coming to the policies or trainings to be introduced to avoid such situation, what is that you can do in your company? Please think over it. Unconscious bias training. Again and again, I'm reinforcing unconscious bias because People are not doing it purposely, it is happening unconsciously. Transparent promotion criteria and its gender sensitivity workshop needs to be created to create an awareness among the people. And a diverse hiring promotion panel should be there. So this is what we need to think of in such situation. What all you can come out with lot of innovative ideas you can also come out with for your organization. Yeah. This I just spoke to a few of the company people and tried to collect a certain gender sensitivity areas in which how they have worked and what was the outcome, in which there was a company, a tech company, I have just removed the name of the company. They had an issue in terms of women in leadership position. What they noticed was women were underrepresented in the senior leadership positions despite similar performance levels to the male counterpart. So this was one of the situations what they were facing. So the action which was taken by them was, one is Women in Leadership program was globally introduced. The second is they helped them in mentorship and sponsorship thing was being given to them. And the third was giving a training on unconscious bias training for all managers. So these are the three initiatives taken, and because of this, the outcome of this particular training was 20% increase in women in executive positions. And there was a more inclusiveness and a gender aware organization culture we started developing. Moving further over here, you have is gender neutral parental leave. I'll just make it a little bit faster. As far as the gender neutral parental leave is concerned, what they introduced was gender neutral paid parental leave for 1 year. And this was being applied for mother, father, and adoptive parents also. So due to which you had employee satisfaction and retention. The third one was in an IT company, what they did was there was an underreporting of harassment. So what they did was anonymous reporting mechanism was allowed and a gender sensitivity committee was being framed. So as a result over here, there was a positive change in work culture. So this is the way in which the company started initiating the innovative way of dealing with it. Now, sensitization training, why and how? So just have a look at this particular video. You'll get an idea on this unconscious bias.
Mr. Mishra, Akshay, Shalini, Kavita, Mr. Venkat.
No, wait. I was just being polite.
I am not guilty.
I felt bad. No, that was meant to be a joke.
No. It was just a compliment.
Let's start from the beginning and see what happened.
Thank you, thanks.
Good morning.
Morning, Mishra.
Second floor?
No, fourth actually.
Did you also get stuck in the park traffic?
No, I live next street.
I ride a scooter. Very convenient. By the way, you're looking very nice.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Acha. Appraisal meeting. Don't worry. You will get it.
What happened? I didn't even ask, yeah. You know that Mishra ji? He thought I'm dressed like this just to impress the boss. Can you believe that?
Okay, listen, it's the boss in. I need to ask for leave next week.
Leave? In the middle of appraisals. Wait, what's your excuse? Are you pregnant? Oh, no, wait. You can use your Madrasi bonding and ask him. Of course, he'll give you leave. Go ask him.
I see. Napora.
Kavita, 2 నిమిషం.
Dama, you should have been in the show yesterday. You missed an amazing show, yeah. It was so good. Hey, Ashwin, how was the show yesterday? See, it was a brilliant show.
Hello, young achiever of the year.
Morning, sir.
Morning, what's up? Coffee? Break already, yeah? Evening, 7 p.m. Concom.
Sure, sir. I'll log in from home.
No, office.
Sure, sir. Shaji? Arey, bite here. You don't have to. By the way, the project that was in the pipeline, we got it. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, I was talking to Pooja about how the client loved your presentation and he's very happy with it. We'll be going forward. But छोटा सा problem है. The client wants to run the production in 2 locations simultaneously.
No problem.
Which will involve a lot of traveling.
Sir, I can.
I know. Which is exactly why I asked Pooja to take the lead so you can relax.
So now what do you say?
Arey, I was just showing empathy, considering he's disabled.
You mean differently?
Yeah, that's what. But boss here was mean to me.
It's not as if you are perfect, Akshay. You judged me because of my disability.
Excuse me? Look who's talking. You judge me just because of the dress I'm wearing. Women don't dress just to impress people, by the way.
By the way, you keep saying I get perks because I'm from Madras. That's also not cool.
No, but that's a joke.
When it happens, it's not cool.
But you know I'm a joke.
No, I you keep saying it every time. 1 or 2 times, it's fine.
Stop. It's all of you. You're all guilty of unconscious bias.
What bias?
Unconscious bias. Judging people based on stereotypes which you are not even aware of. Like assuming that Shalini was well dressed only for a better appraisal. Now that's a bias, Mr. Mishra.
By the way, you're looking very nice today.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You should have been more self-aware. And you thinking that Kavita uses her regional connect to pull favors.
No, that was meant to be a joke.
You could have showed more empathy.
In the middle of appraisals. Wait, what's your excuse? Are you pregnant? Hey.
And Akshay, you could have asked for a second opinion.
But छोटा सा problem है. The client wants to run the production in 2 locations simultaneously, which will involve that be an issue.
No problem, sir. I can shuttle between the 2 locations. Thank you for asking.
All right then. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I got it. I got it. I'm guilty of unconscious bias. I assume young people take a lot of breaks and don't take work.
Guys, can we go for a coffee break?
All right. So we just saw the video over here, which talks about the unconscious bias. So this is what we need to do in an organization when we talk about the unconscious bias, unconscious behavior, and the third important area is the assumptions. So these are the areas which we need to do a sensitization training for the employees in an organization. So which will involve how to interact with others appropriately, what words to be used, how we need to interact with the people. This is very important. Second is, how do you foster a respectful and a safe environment for all employees? And these are the ways in which we can create a sensitization training in an organization. All right. So moving further to the second part of it is the POSH, ICC formulation and implementation. So when I talk about POSH, what could be the biggest challenge with POSH compliance? Why people are not very comfortable in this particular area? POSH is nothing but prevention of sexual harassment. So when I talk about the challenge, few of the challenges which I have just listed down over here, one is lack of awareness among the employees. The second important thing over here is a hesitancy in reporting. When I say hesitancy in reporting, The thing is, the trust which comes as a factor over here, people are very, very reluctant. Lack of training about the POSH, lack of clarity in the procedure in which it will be taken forward. When they come across such type of issue, whom to report, how the process will be, there's no clarity in the procedures. That could be one of the reason, or a lack of trust in the system and the process. So these are the basic reasons. There may be n number of reasons as a challenge over here. These are the few things which we need to concentrate on. So there is the implementation at the ground level. There is a gap still prevailing, and how to bridge the gaps. Let's have a look at it. So hope everybody knows or aware about who is the woman behind this particular act. Before the POSH Act came into existence in the year 2013, we had a Visakha guidelines which came into existence in the year 1997 because of the person called as Banwari Devi. So she was a social worker, a very active person, and she was working against the social evils like child marriage and female rights. These are the area, and she was one of the rape victim. So what she did was she took the case to the police station, filed a complaint, and then it went to the Supreme Court. And because of this thing, what happened was a Visakha guideline came into existence. So it was being issued by the Supreme Court, and now the POSH Act, which is into place in the year 2013, used Visakha guidelines as a factor for taking up the POSH Act in place. So POSH Act enacted in 2013 was framed using the Visakha guidelines. So the complete story you can have a look at in the literature. What was it this act came for is to prevent and addresses sexual harassment against women at workplace. I'm sure now people would have had in the mind, why against a woman? So only women can file a complaint under this act. So how about men? We'll have it as a discussion. Before that, I just want you to show what is a sexual harassment, a key definition which you need to know. Any unwelcome physical contact. When I say unwelcome physical contact, it is what happens is you need to have in the mind, intent does not matter, the impact matters. So intent cannot override impact. This we need to have in the mind. You cannot say, I just said it jokingly. Na casual athana sonne. Such type of things cannot be accepted. Any unwelcome, when a person feels bad, automatically that will be taken as a sexual harassment. A verbal comment, when you say you look good, people say thank you. And next again you come and say you look hot. People may not like it. So what type of comment you are passing to the people is what you need to think about. The gesture, what gesture you are coming out with, or showing any pornography. A gesture, a small video, you can just have a look. A whistling, how it disturbs the mind of a person.
ये टोन चेंज कर दो।
क्यों मॉम?
बदल दो।
क्यों?
क्योंकि रोज जब मैं ऑफिस जाती हूँ, कुछ लोग मुझे देखकर ऐसी ही सीटी मारते हैं और मैं सीटियों से थक गई हूँ। शेयर योर स्टोरी विद यू।
Yeah. So when we talk about a gesture over here, a whistling, when somebody, we may say that I just carried it casually. And again, see what is the impact it has created on the individual. So gesture matters over here, showing pornography. So these are the ways in which a sexual harassment is being defined. So you need to be very, very careful the way in which you leave your words. Workplace, it includes everything, starting from the office, virtual meeting, off-site locations and work-related travel. And whom do you call as an agreed woman? Any woman allying harassment, regardless of age or employment status. When I say employment status, it could be a woman at a lower level to the top level. Anyone, whoever is agreed, will be involved in this particular thing. So this is a basic key definition which every one of you should know about it. And again, this is one more video which you need to have a look into it. A simple sentence, how it is creating a
It was just a joke. It was just a compliment. It was harmless flirting. No, it was sexual harassment. According to a recent survey, nearly 80% women never report sexual harassment as they refrain from making a complaint due to fear, embarrassment, and lack of confidence. Fear and lack of confidence among employees leads to low job satisfaction that affects the productivity and workplace culture. That might also lead to losing valuable employees. All this even after a law, POSH, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at the Workplace, was formulated with the main objective of protecting employees against sexual harassment and promising a safe and secure working environment for them. Let us take a look at a scenario. As Ria was entering her office, her colleague Raj taps her on the shoulder and tells her how hot she is looking in the dress that she is wearing. This makes Ria uncomfortable. She looks at Raj disapprovingly. She tells him not to touch her and mind his language. Raj apologizes and it never happens again. Is Ria being sexually harassed by Raj? The answer is no. This was certainly unprofessional and inappropriate, but was not sexual harassment, as this was a one-time event that was neither severe nor frequent, and it never happened again after Ria expressed her displeasure. However, had Raj continued making Ria uncomfortable with his inappropriate behavior, it would be considered sexual harassment. Therefore, it is important for organizations to inform and sensitize employees about what is POSH and what does it mandate. What is sexual harassment? Types of sexual harassment, steps to prevent sexual harassment at workplace, steps to take if you're being sexually harassed, and the policies and committees in place.
Your screen got breakout. Could you please share the screen again, ma'am? The screen got breakout.
Oh, yeah, just a minute. The video was played.
It has been ended, ma'am.
Now it is okay.
Just a minute. Yeah, now you can give the presentation, ma'am.
Yeah. Right. So you saw the video over here. They talk about the unprofessional and inappropriate. Yes, this is what people need to be trained on, unprofessional and inappropriate. And here they say it is not sexual harassment, but what happens is when a person goes and makes a complaint saying that it has created an impact on the individual, automatically it will be taken care of. So we need to teach both men and women in an organization, both male and female in an organization, how to draw a line, how they need to be professional and working environment. We cannot have a brother-sister relationship or a father-mother relationship over there. People say that he's like my father, she's like my mother. So such type of thing need to be monitored and taught to the people that such type of relationship should not be taken up in a working environment, so that any type of harassment can be avoided if you create an professional and an appropriate way of handling it. Next one over here is a scenario which I would like to give over here. The question which would have already come in your mind: if a male employee or any other gender experiences harassment, what can be done? So, as far as the POSH is concerned, POSH is not a gender neutral by law. But what is the responsibility of the organization? It is the HR who has to ensure that there is a zero tolerance for harassment of any kind for everyone. So here, as far as for the male, we need to address it seriously. Under the company's code of conduct, we need to have a policy in place. for taking up harassment of such kind. The second is anti-harassment policy as a gender neutral one. And the third is we can also have it through internal grievance mechanism. So this is how any complaint which we get it from the male perspective part of it can be handled by an organization, though POSH is not a gender neutral by law. So please make a note of it. It's very, very important for you to understand over here. Right. What is the composition of IC? IC is nothing but internal committee. So as per the section 4 of the POSH Act, IC must include a presiding officer. When I say presiding officer, a woman at the senior level, preferably from the workplace. Now the question is, what if you don't have a person at the senior level? In such cases, you can get it from some other organization, from a senior person who is volunteering. 2 or more employees within the organization who have strong commitment to the gender equality and preferably trained in social work or a legal matters. Such person can be taken up from the organization. The third part is 1 external member from an NGO, lawyer or expert in POSH, and who are well versed in women's rights or workplace safety. So this is the composition of IC. And to be noted, at least 50% members must be women in this particular IC. So please make a note of it. 50% members must be women. 1 should be external member, NGO, lawyer, expert, and 1 presiding officer has to be from a senior level, a woman employee. And how about the terms of IC? Is it a permanent one? No, it is not a permanent one. It is for 3 years, can be reconstituted as necessary, needed. It is not necessary that you need to have the same committee. If there is an issue, you can go for the change of the committee. And also, in case of any vacancies, you need to fill it without delay. And please make a note of it. Each IC member must undergo orientation and a training needs to be given to all the IC members. Why we need to give a orientation? Because the policies may be different for different organizations. They have their own policies. Based on POSH Act, they will have it, but there are certain things which they can do amendments according to their own requirement also, which is not being as a mandatory one. So IC needs to be given a training as we are going to give training for the employees. And advisable to rotate the IC members periodically to avoid bias and burnout. So this is the composition of IC. So IC is applicable for organization which has got 10 or more than 10 members. Then what happens if you have a company which is having less than 10 members? So we'll have a look into the other committee also. So IC committee and the LC committee, 2 committees are there. So in case of IC committee, this is within the organization having 10 or more than 10 employees, and companies which is having less than 10 members, a district officer under the government LC committee will be taking care of it, any type of issues. And LC committee will also take care of the complaints against the employers, because when you have any complaints against the employer, you cannot go to the IC committee, so you can take the help of LC. And in case of the domestic workers, so this is a jurisdiction which comes under for the LC and IC. And composition, we have already seen the presiding officer, 2 internal members and 1 external member. In case of VLC, it is chaired by a woman social worker along with a NGO or a government representative. And the reporting here, you need to submit an annual report to the employer by Jan 31st every year and to the district officer. And in case of LC, it is to the report to the district officer. And the accessibility within the company premises and here at the district or block level government office. Okay, so now I have a scenario over here. A company has headquarters at Delhi and branches at Mumbai, Jaipur and Chennai. Company having head office at Delhi has got us 50 employees over there. So do we need an IC required? Yes, we need an IC over there. Again, you have a branch in Mumbai having 12 members. Can we use the same IC what we have at the head office at Delhi? No, we cannot do that. We need to have a separate IC at the Mumbai branch office. Again, at Jaipur, we have 8 members. So since less than 10, we need to have a local committee. which will be taking care of it. We cannot say that we will be taking the support. We can take the support of the others also, but we need to have a LC. Branch in Chennai, 15. Again, you need to have a separate exclusive IC required for branch in Chennai. My question again, can IC's decision be appealed? Yes, it can be appealed within 90 days. It can be appealed. Is POSH training mandatory for ICs? Yes, it is mandatory for ICs. Right. So with this fact and myth, we'll be able to understand quickly the POSH. Only women can file a complaint under the POSH Act. Yes, the POSH Act applies to even during the office parties, work trips, or online meetings. Yes. Anonymous complaint cannot be taken up by the internal committee. It's a myth, but normally it is defined in the company's policies whether they can take up an anonymous complaint or not. In keeping the employees in the mind, normally they have the policies also, but it is very difficult for the ICs to investigate and take the case forward. So it is normally preferred to be given as a, not as a anonymous complaint. Moving further, an employee can nominate an internal HR person as an external member of the IC. Already I've told you, no, it cannot be. It should be an external person as an NGO or a legal. And conciliation can be requested by the aggrieved women before the inquiry begins. Yes, they can do that. IC must complete the inquiry process within 90 days. Receiving the complaint, it's a fact. If the accused resigns, the IC must close the case immediately. No, it cannot be done until we get the justice. So the inquiry must continue to its logical conclusion. So it has to be carried on, even though it resigned. A male employee cannot be a presiding officer. Exactly, it is right. And followed by POSH compliance is mandatory only for companies with more than 50 employees. No, with 10 or more employees, you need to have an IC. Retaliation against someone who files a POSH complaint is a punishable offense. Yes, it is punishable. So you would have got an idea what POSH includes and what it does not include. Now coming to the policy formulation. Coming to the policy formulation. How do you formulate a policy? Start with the applicability, organization having 10 or more than 10 employees, and how the policy should be effective. It should be very clear. The second important thing is accessible. When I say accessible, we frame the policy and keep it safely in the cupboard or in the file. That should not be there. It should be known to the people what it is about, and it should be accessible to the people. And it should be very inclusive, include each and everyone from the top to the bottom, people included in the company, and it should be regularly updated. You cannot just have the policy being designed and just keep it for 10 to 15 years as a just since it's a mandatory one. You cannot have it. You need to update it as and when required. And what are the key components of a good policy? What should it include? Clear definition of sexual harassment. And you're mentioning the definition of sexual harassment. Please sensitize the people and create an awareness in the people what it is all about. Sometimes it so happens that people understand, gets confused between the grievance and the sexual harassment. So you need to create a line of difference and orient the people on the harassment part of it. Scope of the workplace, the physical and the virtual. What are the roles and responsibilities of the ICs? That needs to be clearly defined in your policy. Coming to the complaint process, what is the process to be followed and how the complaint will be received? All those should be there in the policy. Confidentiality is very much required over here because it is breach of trust, which because of breach of trust is what all these problems come into existence over here, and then followed by the annual report submission, which needs to be done. And how is the language to be used? It should be very, very simple, easy to understandable, and without fear, people should be able to take it up. And there's no legal jargon should be there in the policy. Okay, moving forward, how a complaint will be taken up, how it can be taken up, and what is the process to be followed is what we are going to have a look into it now. Handling the complaints and ensuring due process. So to start with, the complaint to be received by the HR or the IC committee. Complaint must be in writing within 3 months of the incident. So what if it gets extended? If there is a valid reason, IC can take a call on this and it can be accepted. But normally it should be within 3 months of the incident and should be in writing. And it can be given to any of the IC member or HR representative. When it is being given to the HR representative, it should be acknowledged and to be forwarded to the IC member. How will the employees know about the IC member? So here, what is the responsibility of the organization is to be posted all the IC members' details, the phone number along with the email ID, to be posted at different places where the employees will have a visuality. So all the prominent locations, we need to have the IC committee members' details, which is very, very important. Coming to the second step in case of handling the complaint is preliminary review of IC. Why do we need to review review by the IC? Why do we need to review it when a complaint is given? Why can't we just take it forward? We can't do that because we need to check whether the complaint is within the scope or not. If it is not within the scope, we cannot take it forward. So it is the responsibilities of the IC committee to check whether the complaint is within the scope or not. Is the respondent part of the organization? What if the person is not part of the organization and not under their jurisdiction? What happens is they have to guide the complainant to the local committee in such cases. But they can't say it does not come under us and just ignore it. That cannot be done. We have to guide the complainant. Third step over here is notice to the respondent. Once you receive, here again we should not be biased. We have to hear from both the sides. So IC sends a copy of the complaint to the respondent within 7 working days of receiving the complaint. We have to give an equal opportunity to the opposite person also to tell what exactly has happened and what is there in his mind. He or she. Respondent must submit the reply within 10 days. This ensures both parties are heard without bias. So this is very important. And in all the stages, we need to be very, very confidential, and every stage has to be handled in a very confidential way. Mediation, this is one of the optional one. If the complainant requests, IC can attempt a conciliation. But as already told you, in the mid of the process, once the IC has started and then the complainant comes for requesting for a conciliation, it cannot be taken up, taking the case as a how serious the case is. According to that, they can take a call on it. No monetary settlement allowed as a basis. If settled, record and close the matter. Moving further, the formal inquiry conducted by IC like a domestic. You need to respect both the person. Respectfully, you need to have a cross question. When you're asking the question, you cannot threaten them. You need to ask them in a polite and an empathetic way. Questioning has to be done. Both parties should be given the equal opportunity to present the evidence, bring the witness. While getting the witness, when they're accompanying by a co-worker or peer support is allowed, but not as a legal counsel. You cannot get a legal person inside as a supportive. And a regular updates on the progress needs to be given to both the respondent and the complainant. So when we talk about this, HR should ensure IC members are supported logistically, and they need to be very, very neutral over here. How are you going to submit the report? So this IC must submit the final report with 90 days of the complaint with recommendation, which already any complaint when it is being raised, it has to be completed within 90 days of the complaint. So please make a note of this. And the recommendations has also to be given in that. What is the action which has been taken? And if no action is taken, if allegations not proven, no action has been taken, that has to be submitted. So submission has to be done, whatever the reason may be. And moving forward with that, the employer action, employer must act on the IC's recommendation within 10 days. So 90 days for completion of the process and 10 days, within 10 days of the report, the action has to be taken. HR to document the actions taken and maintain internal POSH register. Can the employer ignore here? He or she cannot ignore the complaint, it has to be taken it up. And annual reporting, yes, IC must submit a yearly summary of number of complaints received, how it was resolved, how many cases pending, if it is going beyond 90 days, why it is going beyond 90 days, and what are the training conducted, what are the awareness program conducted by the organization has to be submitted yearly once by Jan 31st. So this is mandatory, and a report must go to the district officer and summary to be disclosed in the organization annual report if applicable. So this is the way in which. Now coming to the point of view of the HR, what is the role HR needs to do in case of POSH implementation? I'll just go fast forward with this. As HR, you are not just a compliant custodian, you need to bridge the gap between the policy and the practice, or how we are going to implement it. So having a policy and how the policy has to be implemented is in the hands of the HR to take it up. First is training and awareness. Don't keep it as a record. Just go and take it signed from the people and keep it as a record saying that you have conducted. Please conduct the training and the awareness program for your people, all the orientation for the new hires, and also the annual refreshers for all the staff has to be done, whether like it or not. Policy communication, yes, use posters, mailers, and team hurdles to make policies visible. So everybody should know about it. Anytime when people ask about it, they should be aware of the policies. Reporting mechanism, yes, it should be very clear, safe, and anonymous reporting option should also be given so that they feel confident to come and reveal when they are having an issue. And IC support, yes, as HR, ensure neutrality, confidentiality, and you need to have a fairness for the internal committee. So these are the ways in which HR can support in bridging the gap between having a policy and how it can be implemented within the organization. Moving further, what are the best practices for HR during the complaint? What is the do's and don'ts which a HR need to do? As far as the do is concerned, maintain complete confidentiality. Even if they are your friends, please don't share it, whether within the company or out the company. Being HR, you need to be very, very confidential. It cannot be shared with anybody. Provide a safe space for reporting. Yes, they need to be confident. They need to have a trust in the system to come and talk to you. Keep a documentation neutral and very, very clear. Support IC with admin. What is that you should not do? We should not discuss the complaint casually with others. No gossiping on this. Try to informally settle complaints. No, don't do that. Don't use emotional or biased language, and don't interfere in the proceedings or take sides. You need to be unbiased. If someone is wrong, they are wrong. If someone is right, they are right. So we need to be very, very cautious in the way in which we take up the complaints. So this is where HR empathy meets a legal literacy. Please make a note of it and be clear in this particular way. So HR role is not to decide who is right or wrong. It's to create a space where the system works, trust is built, and action follows a lawful process. Right? So this, I'll just leave it to you to have a look into it. If an employee verbally reports harassment at offsite dinner, what will you do as a HR? As a HR, you need to support them and sensitize them, tell them that what does that need to be done from their point of view. So listen supportively, don't dismiss, encourage them and give them the guidance, right guidance. The second, inform about the POSH process. Inform them about the right to file a written complaint and how it will be taken forward. Facilitate written complaint, but don't force them if they are not willing to do it. Do not investigate or judge. Leave it to the IC to investigate and judge the process. Ensure safety and no retaliation. Check for immediate safety needs. Suppose if it's required, give them an option leave or a team separation, which can be done from the HR side. Notify the IC immediately. So these are the steps which has to be taken by the HR when a person comes and complains about an incident verbally. So this is again just for you to refresh on the POSH. HR is the final decision maker on POSH complaints? No. IC must have at least 50 women members. Yes, as per 50% women members, yes, as per POSH Act, Section 4, you need to have 50% or more than that in the committee. A freelance consultant can't file a POSH complaint. This is not right. Freelancers, interns, and third parties are also included in this. The IC must include one external member from an NGO or legal background. Yes, IC can recommend monetary settlement during conciliation. It cannot be done. Please make a note of it. Remote workers are not covered under POSH. No, they are also covered. Complaints must be resolved within 90 days from the receipt. Yes, it has to be done within 90 days. A POSH complaint can only be filed in writing. Yes, written complaints are required. Oral ones must be recorded in writing by the IC. So this is for you to just a recap, which I just wanted to do for you. And this is a scenario. We can just have a quick look into the scenarios which may come, and you just can decide whether what to be done over here. A manager frequently praises a female team member's appearance during meeting. Is it right or wrong? When I say right or wrong, again, the statement which comes to my mind over here, intent does not override impact. Please make a note of this. Intent does not override impact. You may say that I just told casually, but if a person has an impact on the statement being made or a discomfort is being created, it is considered as a sexual harassment. So be very clear on that. An employee receives late night WhatsApp messages from the senior colleague with the filthy emojis. Yes, it is being covered. It has to be taken up. A vendor makes inappropriate jokes during a lunchtime. Can a complaint be filed? Yes, it can be filed. Even if it is a third party like vendors, it will be taken up. A woman complains that co-worker repeatedly stares at her, making her uncomfortable. Yes, it will be taken up. A male employee files a complaint about a sexual jokes made by his female boss. Now, what is that we can do? It cannot be complained under POSH Act because it is only the woman can make a complaint. So what is that we need to do over here is it comes under the company's code of conduct or a dignity or work. The sixth one, an intern is harassed during a work trip. There's no IC at the branch office. So where the person can go? He can go to the main office or it can be taken at the LC. An employee does not want to file a written complaint. Can HR act based on the verbal report? IC needs a written complaint, but they can take a sumoto cognizance in serious cases. I told you already, when there is a complaint is not given in writing, it is a little bit difficult for them, but they have to get it done. A woman files a complaint but then asks to withdraw. Should IC stop the inquiry? No. If the issue is serious and it is affecting the safety of an organization, in such cases, IC can proceed in the interest of justice. So once a complaint is given, it cannot be just withdrawn because they don't want to do it. So it has to be taken up seriously. A male employee accused of harassment claims it was a joke. POSH is not about intent. Again, it's about impact. So please make it clear to your people that POSH is not about the intent. It's about the impact which is being created on an individual. HR tries to settle a case informally to avoid escalation. No, it cannot be done. It has to be done only by the IC. So these are the scenarios in which you can understand what comes under POSH, what to be done, what not to be done, how a training has to be given, and what is that an organization has to do. So these are the checklists which as a HR needs to follow. POSH policy reviewed and circulated annually. IC form with external members and a training needs to be given. Awareness session conducted for all levels. Annual report filed with the district officer. Complaint process documented and posted to be displayed in the prominent locations. And also the IC committee members, details need to be displayed at the prominent locations in your organization so that people will have a visibility. General, neutral, and inclusive policies to be implemented. As a closing note, POSH compliance isn't just legal, it's a commitment to your people. So what we need to do is let's build a workplace where safety is right, not a privilege, and where HR leads with courage, compassion, and clarity. So this is about the gender sensitization and POSH. very important, need to have an awareness in the people and ask them to draw a line of professionalism, which is very, very important in an organization where you have a diversified people working. And so we need to have inclusivity, equality, everything to be followed. So it is up to us to decide how we take it forward. Thank you so much. So any questions, you can just raise it over here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your wonderful insight session of about the POSH.
Thank you,
So-
madam. Shall I stop sharing it?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Ah.
So I request all the participants kindly raise your query. So whatever queries are there, you kindly raise your query in a chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask your query. Meanwhile, I will ask the participant all to just fill the feedback form to how this session was and what is the next topic session is expected. So you can just fill the feedback form.
इसको आगे पीछे करके दोनों
Improve our
एक
design.
भाई बीच वाला इसमें थोड़ा स्पेस बढ़ा
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hello.
कर दे
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. This is Allu Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
Ma'am, it was a great session, ma'am. Thank you so much for your insights. And it was a fantastic session. Thank you so much. And I'm very happy to hear you.
ज्यादा बैटरी देख
Thanks a lot, Monica.
So I request the participants kindly ask your queries one by one.
इधर ट्रेनिंग लगा दी पहुंच की
Ms. Joshi, so you have any other query?
हमारी यूनिट में हो रहा है उधर
Madan sir, if you come across any queries which I can answer it.
Yeah. So you can answer it in the chat box.
Earlier questions if you have come across.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is it mandatory to conduct training for IC members? Yes, it is mandatory. Rahul Jain, sir.
So all the participants kindly fill the feedback form. So once you filled it, the PPT will be shared with your participant certificate.
I have a question over here by Alex, Mr. Alex. What happens if the complainant insists on legal representation? Yes, it can be taken forward. We cannot compel them not to go forward with that. We can support them in it. And there's a question by Mr. Satish. Employee finds a POSH scenario at workplace, but it is nowhere come up. But as a third person, should I raise it? Yeah, for the safety of the organization, you can raise it as a third party, but it is again left to the person who is aggrieved have to come in concern with that. Is there any specific
this is
format
Rajita.
Yeah, please.
If in a company,
Mm-hmm.
a manager and a worker in a mutual relationship,
Okay.
what will be the punishment? The IC.
The IC will come in place only a complaint when a complaint is raised to them.
Okay.
IC comes into picture when you raise a complaint. Otherwise, it cannot be done.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
So Mr. Vivekananda
Yeah,
has asked one question. Who
there
is
is a
enforcing
question.
authority?
If domestic inquiry is not satisfied, then what they do? Yeah, they can go for the appeal, which can be done within 90 days. If they are not convinced with the IT committee's inquiry, they can take it forward and it will be handled within 90 days.
And Mr. Rahul Jain has asked the question, is there any other specific format for internal POSH register?
No such specific format is there. They can have a format of their own. Yeah, the time is too short is one of the comment given by Mr. Srinivasan. Yes, we can have a session. If you are interested, we can have a session. Is domestic inquiry is
Ma'am,
not satisfied? That's answered. Yeah, please.
if any ICC committee member is the confidentiality, what will be the punishment for IC member? If she or he
Yeah.
breaks the confidentiality,
Okay.
what
If the
will
confidentiality
consequence?
is broken by the IC member, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the policy, the company, whatever the policy given the company, the roles and responsibilities, in that itself, the company can decide. Company can decide, take a call on that. So
If there is any
it has to be
legal,
mentioned in the policy. It has to be mentioned in the policy. So in case of a breach of confidentiality, what will be done?
sure, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So I'm requesting all the participants kindly fill the feedback form and raise your queries in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask the query. Okay, so Mr.
I have a question
Rahul
from
Jain.
Mr. Rahul Jain. How one can become a POSH trainer? There are a lot of institute which is giving a training. Train the trainer program is to be given by a lot of institutes. You can register with them and have the certification. And Yogita, do IC members have a certification? No, not required. Is IC mandatory for all types of company? Which government authority enforcing? Yeah, IC mandatory for all type of companies. ICs, like for example, you have a 10 or more than 10 numbers employees, you need to have a IC. If it is less than that, then you can have a LC in place, local committee, a district officer. What if the management is not ready or allowed to take the case further? So management cannot do that. It is in the hands of the IC to take it forward, and if it is not being handled properly, management can also be fined. So it is the responsibility of all the organization to follow the POSH Act as it is given.
மேடம் வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
மேடம் இன்னைக்கு நீங்க பண்ண ப்ரோக்ராம் ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருந்துச்சு. ஒரு
Thank you so
சின்ன
much.
விஷயம் மேடம். இந்த விஷயங்களை வந்து நீங்க இன்னும் தமிழ்ல கொஞ்சம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா இன்னும் எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். ஐ மீன்
Okay,
என்னுடைய
ma'am.
கருத்து அது.
Yeah, I
அதுக்காக
understand.
நாங்க எப்படி உங்களை அப்ரோச் பண்றது அப்படின்றத வந்து நீங்க கொஞ்சம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா எனக்கு இன்னும் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும் மேடம்.
Sure. You can take down my number. I have already given over here. I'll just put it in the chat box. As we have more than 70 members over here, participants, so I was not sure how many of them are familiar with Tamil. So that was the reason for taking it up in English. Otherwise, I would have gone with the bilingual way of handling it. So you can take down my number 9444222108.
ஓகே மேடம், நன்றி மேடம்.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any more queries?
So I think still some 65 participants are there. So participants, I request all you kindly fill the feedback form. And if any queries are there, kindly ask your queries in the chat box. I hope there is no more queries. So Okay. One of the participants has asked the queries of any latest amendment in this act.
I have included whatever all with along with the amendments, everything is being explained actually.
So all the participants, I hope, so you have been filled the feedback form. So with the feedback form, whatever the mail ID you have been shared, with that, the PPTs will be shared with your participation certificate.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Everything.
Yeah, நல்லா இருக்கேன், ma'am. Geeta.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it mandatory changing the quorum member any particular period? So because sometimes many organizations will have the same quorum members, the same people. Is it mandatory to change after some period of time or?
Yes, ma'am. Once in 3 years, we can go for a change of the members.
Okay.
Normally, we are going with the same members, but what happens is there may be a bias which may come in place. So it is better to rotate the IC
Okay,
members.
but it is not mandatory, but it is based on the organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, ma'am? Yeah.
It is valid for 3 years actually.
Oh, okay. The team can hold it the same post for 3 years.
For 3 years, 3 years, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Nice class. It was well explained. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, there's a question. Best male members engage in IC. Yes, you can have male members also in IC. But 50% of the members in IC committee should be a female. But we can have the male members also. But the presiding officer has to be a female. Ma'am, what sort of protective measures can HR and POSH members take to ensure that the complaint does not endure any workplace pressure? Ensure the complainant does not. Yes, Alex sir. Yes, it is left to the HR to take a call on this particular thing. Oh, here is we have the right to make any type of complaints if they retaliate or if they are trying to take a revenge. So we have all the right to take any type of action on that.
So the participants, I hope all of them has been filled the feedback form. So if any more queries are there, so we can just going to be a close of this call. So we are going to be a closer to the call. So if you are having any other like a last question, you can just ask in the chat box. Okay, so we are just closing of the session. So all the participants, hope you got the feedback link. So you kindly fill the feedback link. So if you have any other additional queries, you can just make a reply with the mail or the reach with the feedback form, and you can just reply with the mail of contact@firstjob.org regarding your queries or feedback regarding this program. Okay. So once again, I've just thank you to all the participants who have take part the event, and my special thanks to our Ms. Dr. Shanti Neelakandan ma'am on behalf of First Job Human Capital.
Thank you, Madan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, once
And
again,
thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, sure. Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure. So once again, I thank you all the participants who have participated for this today's Friday event. Thank you. Good day. Jai Hind.